Well, welcome back to the Piney Woods Homestead, y'all. We're going to call this Hot Monday. It's Monday and it's hot.
I heard somebody refer to North Carolina weather as Satan's pepper patch, and I think that's about right.
I don't know if I like that one too much, but
It's just so hot.
y'all, it's currently about 90 degrees outside, 70-some% humidity. Supposed to get up to 95 today.
Heat index 105.
So that's what it really feels like.
Yeah.
And y'all, I don't think I can tell the difference between 95 and 105 with humidity, to be honest. So I had grand intentions on taking y'all along with me today as I built a little ramp for the piglets to come in and out of the farrowing hut, because we're starting to creep feed them now, and at 3 weeks old we'd like to turn them out, let them get some outside activity and start coming in and out, limiting access to Dixie, to the farrowing barn, letting those piglets feed, start getting on a little bit of real feed on their own. But it's just too hot, y'all. I can't handle it. I'm melting. I'm literally melting. If you can see, my eyeballs are melting right now. So I'm gonna take you on a little walk and talk, go around and show you a few things here on the homestead, and then I'm getting back in the house into the AC, because as Lisa put it a while ago, if I wear myself out in this heat when I have a paying job to go to with the excavator, I'm gonna be wore out and not feel like going. So as much as I don't like having to stick around inside the house, that's what I'm gonna do a little bit of today.
And it's only took me like 2 hours of fussing at you to just go inside and so that you can work.
True.
But
I'm stubborn, y'all. That's part of my personality. Guys, thanks for stopping in at Piney Woods Homestead. Hit that like and subscribe if you hadn't, and if you have, as always,
we appreciate you.
I'm gonna take you around the homestead. Y'all gonna start off right here in front of the farm shop where we had our sweet corn patch, and y'all, even though it fell over, it did pretty good. We put up 20-some quart bags. We blanched and froze on the cob because we like it on the cob, even though it takes up more space in the freezer. But Lisa came in here the other day with her little gas cultivator and kind of tilled up the rows a little bit where we had corn and planted pink eye crowder peas. And y'all, every one of them came up. 100% germination, looks like to us. Used an inoculant put in there in the furrow. But those are up about 3-4 inches now, so they'll make peas before we have to turn this under and cover crop. Y'all, do you ever start out with grand intentions in the evening for the next morning, and then the morning comes and you're like, I believe I know to postpone that? That's just the way today's been, y'all. This heat, crazy heat and humidity. Just don't handle it like I once did. But came out this morning, we noticed that even though I got the gator fixed, the battery is going out on it. So I topped it off with a little bit of water, the battery, threw it back on the charge. We keep it on a trickle, but 7-year-old battery, so I'd say it's done pretty good. But I was gonna, my grand intentions were to go up and work on that off-grid cabin this morning before the heat set in too much. Only problem was it was already hot when I got up, so I went up there. I need to do some weed eating. I sling bladed up there a while back, but it's already growed up again, so need to get that cleaned up so I can actually get in there and get that cabin done. October is when we're hoping to have that thing ready for some camping. Y'all saw me working on the wood yard extension in the last video, and y'all, I got all that clearing done. You only saw a portion of it on the video, but I was going to take out a few more trees, but honestly, I kind of like the way it ended up. I've got 2 log decks, one as you come into the entrance of this new wood yard, and a separate log deck here on the other side. Going to keep all of our fire pit camp wood over there. Small stuff that people really don't want for their home heating, pine, stuff like that. But also going to be a nice big open wood yard. I gotta, when it cools off, go borrow my dad's auger for the tractor. I'm gonna drill some holes out here, y'all. I'm gonna set some posts once I get them milled, and basically I'm gonna build me a frame, separate it out so we can have individual cord bunks. It'll go a whole lot faster doing it this way than the original way we did it in wood yard number 1, building those individual bunks. I wanted to do that because I needed something to do at the time, kept me busy. I liked the way it looked. But this is going to serve a better purpose, and it's not really seen from our house or the driveway, so I don't care if it don't look quite as fancy, but it's still going to look good, y'all. While we're walking down here to check on these baby pigs, I want to remind you, we've sold several t-shirts that we've designed. There's always a link in the description where you can go to get one. And through the end of the month, there is still a 10% off code. So you can get 10% off your purchase. And y'all, we don't set the price that high. We set it to where we can make a couple of dollars. It's a third-party company. But you can get you a Piney Woods Homestead t-shirt. They're pretty cool. Several people have commented how much they like theirs. So go to that link. Every little bit of it supports hog feed, chicken feed, garden seed, all kinds of stuff around here, y'all. So we appreciate you if you've done that or you've considered it. Let's check on these pigs real quick. Y'all, when it's this hot outside, we keep a box fan going down here on one end of this farrowing hut. Just provides a little bit of fresh air moving through for Dixie especially, because, you know, pigs, they don't sweat like us, and they need a little bit of air movement to keep them from panting, getting too hot. But 105-degree real feel to us still feels the same to them. So it's a good idea to have some air moving through your farrowing barn. And if it's too cool, run a heat lamp in the corner for the piglets in a safe fashion, obviously, y'all. And that's what we do. At night, it's been dipping down to the 70s, heat lamps on. During the day when it's hot like this, fans moving some air, keeping those pigs dry and cool. That's the idea. Now, they're starting to get a little bit wet because Dixie's been in here now with them for 2 weeks. She messes in one spot, which is good. But y'all, even though we have her water, I don't know if you can see down in here, we got a 5-gallon pail. See if you can see that. A 5-gallon pail nipple drinker, and she'll drink out of it, Dixie, no problem. But she also, even though it is ratchet strapped to the building, she'll hit it with her head, because they're extremely strong animals, and dump about a gallon of water out. Gives her a little bit to play in, and the babies to play in too, help keep them cool. So after my best made plans to work on the cabin this morning got shot down from the heat, I thought, well, I can go down here in the shade, get some measurements. I'll get a ramp built on the outside of this farrowing barn, because y'all, it's rutted out in front of it where the hogs have rooted it over the years. And it's just a steep drop off, and so we need a transition for these piglets to be able to come in and out a little bit easier. Dixie, she can do it no problem, but little piggies, they got short legs compared to her right now. So while I was working on this, my brain just opened up and said, why don't you use something you already got? So this old gate right here, y'all, we used a swinging gate. We used to use it on the farrowing barn for one season, then realized that the guillotine door is what we really needed. But I still got it. It's been under the eave in the dry, and it's almost the right size. So all I got to do is cut me some boards, put me a flat surface on it. And we'll use that for the ramp, y'all. But try to always think of ways to repurpose things. That way you just don't have stuff laying around. And here I am running, y'all, because there's hornets and all kinds of mess out here dive bombing me. It's just kind of a swampy environment as far as the heat and humidity, and everything that's out that wants to bite on something is going to try to bite on you. All right, so down here at the garden, the in-ground, the okra is finally coming on down here a little bit, but y'all, I'm afraid it's going to be too little too late. And the reason for it's getting cool at night, and the okra just doesn't like to put on as good when it starts getting cool. We're really about, honest to goodness, a month behind on okra this year. It's been a wild, weird growing season. We're starting to get a little bit, and we may get enough to put up in the freezer. Our intention was to have enough to sell, because y'all, with 3 80-foot rows of okra, it'll run out your ears. You'll have so much. Usually, just didn't work out that way this year. But the tomatoes are almost done, y'all, tomatoes. And we'll be pulling those out of here in a few days. Once it cools off, tilling out under and probably just going ahead and cover cropping that section. The new stuff that we planted, replanted, is coming up well, y'all. You really can't see it right now. It's like a little carpet of green going out through these rows. Only problem is our resident rabbits have really enjoyed some of these greens. Our beets, they've been working on those, and our turnips. The only way to curb that is going to be to have one of those woven electric fences to put up around this garden eventually. And eventually, y'all, we will. It's just not been in the budget as of late to be able to do something like that. So we'll do our best. We'll get what we can out of the fall in-ground garden. We still got to raise beds. Nothing seems to bother those up at the house. At least we're keeping the deer out. The deer would mow it all down, but the rabbits, y'all, they're doing pretty good too. And we know how to curb those rabbits, but that's during a certain season, and you just can't do it right now. Not have any benefit other than ridding a pest, because we like to have more use for things than just ridding of it, if that makes any sense. But the garden has done well this year. We're very tickled with how it is done in spite of the weather being off this year. It took a while for the tomatoes to actually turn on and start growing, and once they did, they finally set fruit, and a ton of it, y'all. We've actually decided that next year, even though we're selling stuff in the farm market too, we're going to probably do 25% less on tomato growth, tomato plants, and probably up our peppers about 25%. And see how that goes next year, y'all. But that's kind of the plan in the works at the moment. Y'all, I just told Rosie I feel exactly the same way. It is just too hot. She's enjoying one of these wallers down here, y'all. That's how old pig regulate their temperatures, to get in an old mud bath and cool off. But y'all, we've told you many times why we live this way. One, it's tradition. Our families grew up living this way, and that doesn't always translate into the next generation. But for Lisa and I, it is. We're maintaining those family traditions, as old Hank sang about, some of them anyways. But the main reason we do it, y'all, is a sense of freedom. There's a sense of freedom in producing your own food. The hard work that goes into it, the sweat, the toil, the constant battling against the elements, against pests, all kinds of things, y'all. It really is a gamble living this way, growing your food, because not everything's going to make. Some things will look great and not put anything on, no fruit. But y'all, there's a sense of freedom not having to go to the grocery store to buy our pork, our poultry, and our vegetables. There's a sense of freedom in doing that. I ran across something the other day that many of you may have as well. Actually, Lisa put me on it. This young man up in Virginia singing a song about rich men north of Richmond. If you hadn't seen it, you should check that out. The young man is singing basically a country song that he's wrote that really expresses, I think, a lot of what folks are feeling and thinking these days about how things are going in the world. And on top of that, I was able to watch a little, like a 9-minute testimony that he put out on his YouTube channel the other day. And it's good to know that not only is he saying some things that a lot of folks are thinking and wish they could say, but they're scared to death they're going to get canceled by society. We don't really live in society out here, y'all. We're pretty much hermits on the homestead, other than what we put out on YouTube. And y'all, we're not hermits because we just are in fear of being around a bunch of people. It's just, y'all, this is This is your lifestyle. If you're going to raise your food, you're constantly out here with it, trying to make it grow and keep it healthy as far as animals and stuff like that. But anyways, you should check him out. His name is, I believe it's Oliver Anthony. Some pretty interesting stuff, but even if you don't watch his music, watch his testimony. It's about a 9-minute video. I'll put a link to it in the description. Speaking some truth, y'all, and a lot of us feel the same way. Guys, y'all have a good day, a great week. Sorry if it's just a walk and talk, but y'all, it's just too hot. It is just too hot. I'm going in the house right now, get some cold, probably sweet tea. I noticed that Lisa had made some, and work on this video for you guys. Y'all have a good day, a great week, and Lord willing, and the creek don't rise too high. We'll see you on the next one.